90% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia. AB skinheads with big giant swastikas. Pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever click you choose, you better stick to.
Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. You're damn. Now, for those of y'all new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life. I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you happen to like this story, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP Rocky, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, for those of y'all new to my page, I'll be rapping. Yes, that's me in the intro. I have not yet titled the song. I'll be doing so soon, man. But if you want to hear some more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down the gas stations, and check me out right there. I guarantee you it's gas. Now, with that being said, let's go. This story right here, though, this is another one of my Montana stories, man. For those of y'all that keep up with my stories, you guys know that I went to Billings, Montana back in '89 and was out there hustling and stuff before I got caught up and went to the pen. So how that worked was I had some cousins who had stayed out there. Now, in '89, they came down to California to have a little Thanksgiving dinner at my grandmother's house. From there, me, my uncle, my cousin who was from Montana, and my uncle's partner, and I'm gonna just call him B, we decided to ride back to Montana, get our hustle on, man, take a little work back there, make it do what it do. Now, my uncle, he rented a car. Well, actually, one of his partners, man, by the name of Hines, had already had a car rented. So my uncle said, hey, you know what? Let us get the car. We'll give you the bread, what it costs for a week or two, whatever. They was like, cool. So now we took us a little crack back there with us. My uncle also had a Uzi. So he took his Uzi, you know what I'm saying? So we slide back. Now, as we going through a small town in the state of Utah, a small town by the name of Nephi, we get pulled over, man. Long story short, they find the Uzi. Officer who pulled us over, his name was Manelson. I'll never forget that name because he pulled me over 2 more times going back and forth from California to Montana. So they pull us over. They talking about the car was stolen. So then they searched the car. They found the Uzi. So of course, when they find the Uzi, my Uncle Dre, being the stand-up cat that he is, he telling the Uzi is mine. You know what I'm saying? So they end up confiscating the car. Of course, locked my Uncle Dre up. Took him back to the station. They took us back to the station, which was a small little city. We ended up catching the bus. We had to catch the bus from there to Billings. Later on, as they do a more extensive search of the car, they end up finding the crack too. You know what I'm saying? So now my uncle got a gun case and he got a dope case out there. So we proceed to Billings. Once we get to Billings, I believe my cousin James gave B, my uncle's partner, who they had grew up together. They was the same age. They grew up together, been knowing each other all their lives. He gave him enough bread to get back to California. So I stay out there for a while or whatever. Then I make my way back to California a little later. At some point, my Uncle Dre, he wants to go back to Montana now. So this time we go rent a car. He go down there and get the car rented. Now he want to take his gun. Now we taking some more work, and he wants to take his sawed off. He got a gauge. He's adamant about taking it, but we talk him about it. Said, no, man, that's how, we got in trouble last time, or you got in trouble. So now we sliding back to Montana. So at this point in time, I'm driving, man, as we going through what's known as the Continental Divide. And I believe it is like it's some mountains, man. They didn't have, made a passway through or whatever. So now I forget what the exact sign said, but I think it said elevation like 4,000 or 5,000 feet. You know, now like I say, I'm driving. So now we going through this big old giant, you know, pass and stuff. It's snow all over the place. And we had just passed the diesel maybe about 3 or 4 minutes ago. So now I'm driving, I'm sliding, you know, I'm whipping the whip, like I like to say. And so my uncle, he tell me, hey man, he said, hey, chill, slow down, man. We on that black ice. You know, now for those of y'all who don't know what black ice is just regular ice, but the cars have drove over it so much, it looks just like the road, and you can't even realize you own ice because it's black, because, you know, so many tires that went over it. But now me, I had never drove on snow before. I'm up out of California. And also the cars up out of California, they don't have front wheel drive. So when you driving on the snow and your car's not front wheel drive, it's really like you just on some skis because there's no traction. The tires ain't pulling from the front. So anyway, as my uncle tell me, hey man, slow down, I tell him, man, I'm only going 65. But when he tell me that, I step on the brake. Now, that's where I messed up. Mistake number one. You know, when you driving on ice, you cannot step firmly on the brake. You got to slowly pat it. So now, like I say, I'm not knowing this. I step on the brake. So now, as I'm stepping on the brake, it's like I hear myself. It seemed like the words hadn't even escaped my mouth. I'm only doing 65. Feel the car slide now. I'm losing control. I'm trying to turn the wheel, and there's no control. Now we heading straight toward the guardrail. A couple of things flashed through my mind. The first thing flashed through my mind, it's over. You know what I'm saying? I'm 18. I'm through with money. It's all bad. Next thing that flashed through my mind is I'm literally picturing us hitting this guardrail and this guardrail busting, and we just plunging over to our death. All of a sudden the guardrail is coming. It's like, oh damn, it's all over for the chill. All of a sudden we hit the guardrail. Boom, we hit the guardrail, the whole car spin 360. Whole car spin out. Do like a 360. Now as we spin it, and like I say, I'm still on the brake. Also thinking in my mind, like, dang, now this diesel is getting ready to run into us, because I remember passing the diesel a few minutes before. Luckily, on the incline, the diesel had to slow down. So like I say, man, we do a complete 360, and the car is still going the same way it originally was, except now I'm only going maybe like 10, 15 miles an hour, you know. My leg is shaking like a bastard. You know, my uncle like, man, chill, you trying to kill us. But now my uncle, he crazy. He back there giggling, he laughing. It's funny to him, you know. So he said, man, chill, pull over, man. You about to kill us. So I'm happy to pull over. My legs shaking, boy, I'm scared. I'm nervous. It's all outdoors. So we pull over to the side of the road. You know, we get out, we go look at the damage. The right front fender is bent a little bit, but other than that, everything is fine. You know, as we hop in the car and we leave, later on, you know, as we're leaving now, we can tell it's a little bit of rubbing. I didn't bent something, but the car still run good enough to get us to where we going. So now, you know, my Uncle Dre, he in the car, he laughing, he giggling and stuff. It's funny to him, you know, chill, you damn near killed us, chill, you damn near killed us. So he driving, and all of a sudden, my uncle do that. He like, man, what is that? He said, oh man, I smell shit. B, you didn't shit it on yourself? B, you's a punk, man, you shit it on yourself. Now, keep in mind, my uncle and his partner B, they grew up knowing each other all their lives, and they from the 60s. Back in that days, dudes took real pride in being able to box, use their hands, and all that old type of stuff. And they didn't play that name calling. So B, he get highly upset. He like, Dre, that's how he talk. Dre, pull over, Dre. I ain't no punk, man. We gotta get down. Dre. Pull over, Dre. My uncle like, come on, man. B, I'm just messing with you. No, Dre, I ain't no punk, Dre. Pull over, Dre. We gotta get down. So basically what he telling my uncle is, pull this car over ASAP. You know what I'm saying? We got to get out. We got to catch this fade. You didn't call me a punk. I'm not no punk, you know. And B was adamant about my uncle pulling over. He wanted to fight immediately. You know what I'm saying? My uncle like telling me, come on, man, get back. I'm just clowning, man. No, Trey. You already know I ain't no punk, Trey. Trey, you pull over, Trey. So my uncle, he laughing, you know, he tell B, kick back, man. Don't trip. B mad is all outdoors, you know what I'm saying? So we proceed on to Billings, man. When we get to Billings, B is so mad at my uncle, he honestly don't even talk to him for like 3-4 days. He was mad, you know what I'm saying? So now when we get out there, like I said, man, they had a lot of pimps out there. You know, some was from Rockford, Illinois, some was from Chicago, some was from Oakland. They had a little bit from everywhere. Now, some of the pimps out there from Rockford, I think one or two had came out there pimping, then probably called back, told his partners, man, hey, it's going on down there. So they had Black Steve, they had Light Steve, they had Fruit, they had Rufus, Ice Cream, Antoine, Lep, just to name a few. You know, it was a lot of pimps out there, man. And like I told y'all, on Fridays and Saturdays, man, these pimps would get super dressed up. You know what I'm saying? Tuxedos, three-piece suits, shoes shining. They had a jury on. They come down there talking all that pimp talk. You know what I'm saying? Popping their collar. You know, and for me, being from a small town in California, this was kind of it was kind of interesting and intriguing. But also at that time, I kind of think that, you know, a lot of us look down on the pimps, man, because we grew up in a small town, and you know, for them to come up to any woman and get to talking that stuff, and you know, we viewed that as lightly disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And so, on this night in particular, we at the arcade bar where everybody hung out. You know, the people who was of the underworld out there. You know, the hustlers, the pimps, the players, the dope fiends, whatever. You know, we out there hanging out. Now, it was another pimp too by the name of Antoine. Now, Antoine just passed away maybe about 6-7 months ago out there in Montana. God rest his soul, man. Antoine was my partner. We used to kick it, shoot dice, you know, all that, man. But everybody who know anything about Antoine know Antoine might have been a whole lot of things. But one thing he wasn't was a fighter, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't fight his way out of a wet pimp, if they put him in a wet paper bag made up out of bounty paper towels, he couldn't fight his way up out of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Antoine was not no fighter. Matter of fact, the whole 4 years I was out there 4 years, man. I only seen him get into 2 fights. And each one of those fights was with one of his hoes. The first fight he got into was at a club on Moore Lane. He clearly got his ass whooped in that fight. You know, his hoe beat his ass all down. It started right in the hallway as you heading down the steps. She beat his ass from the hallway down every one of them steps. You know, eventually some dudes had to go down there and pull her up off him. You know what I'm saying? She beat his ass so bad, I thought maybe the next night I might see him on the whole stroll and her driving by in the Cadillac telling him to get my money. You know what I'm saying? And then the next fight I seen him get into with one of his hoes was at the arcade bar. Now, depending on who was judging and who the judges thought won the last 30 seconds, that fight might have been a draw. You know what I'm saying? You know, maybe at the end, he ended up getting the upper hand and slapped her up a couple times, and he hadn't got them slaps in. He might have lost that fight too. Antoine was probably about 5'9", 5'10", maybe about 155 pounds, 160 pounds. Like I say, thin dude, man. He definitely wasn't no fighter. You know, that'll never be something that'll be attached to his resume. Now, for whatever reason, Antoine and my homie, my uncle's partner, B, they started fighting. I don't even know what the fight was about. I just looked up, they started fighting. Now, the homie B, like I say, those dudes grew up boxing, man. Them dudes grew up having pride, being able to swab, use their hands and all that old type of stuff. So, you know, I look up, he mixing Antoine. You know what I'm saying? He putting hands on him, man. Hey, he mixing him like a brand new Black & Decker blender. You know what I'm saying? He putting mix on him, mixing him something decent. Now, fortunately for Antoine and unfortunately for the homie B, one of Antoine's partners was there, Black Steve. Now, Black Steve, like I said, this is Friday, man. I can't remember if he had on a 3-piece suit or some type of suit, but this dude is dressed to the nines, you know. So once he see him fighting, he run over, hey man, get your hands up off my partner, man. Hey man, get your hands up off my partner, man. Get your hands up off my partner. He run over there and he grabbed Buff. I'm calling him B now, just to say his name, man. So we just rocking with B then. I mean with Buff. He grabbed Buff by the shoulder. So now when he grabbed Buff reached back and elbowed him like, man, get off me, man. He throw the elbow. Just so happened, he hit Black Steve in the face. So now when he hit Black Steve in the face with the elbow, Black Steve stumbled back, man. And all of a sudden I see him go up in here. He come out, man, this dude come out with a long revolver, man. I don't know if it was a 4.4 or if it was a 3.57. But he run back over there, grab a Buff by the shoulder, spin him and slap him on the head with that thing. Hit him right across the head. So now, all of a sudden, Buff, he turned around. He said, man, I'm getting ready to kill you. I'm getting ready to kill you. So now he started walking towards Black Steve. Now, I guess Black Steve and my uncle had been going out there a couple of times. So I guess maybe they had some type of rapport or whatever. So Black Steve was like, hey man, I'm telling you, Dre, get your people, man. Hey Dre, get your people, man. Dre, I'm telling you, Dre, get your people, man. Get your people. And Buck is still walking toward him. He said, I don't care about that gun. You're gonna have to shoot or do whatever you're gonna have to do. He walking up on him real slow. So Black Steve like, I'm telling you, Dre, get your people, man. Dre, I'm telling you. And all of a sudden, he squeezed off around in the arcade bar, let that thing go. Like, boom, you know. So now when he squeezed off that round, it happened to be a bartender up in there by the name of Porter, black dude. Y'all seen right there on the screen. Yeah, that's Porter. That's the arcade bar. He tell him, hey, man, what's going on, man? Y'all stop all that stuff. Y'all stop all that stuff, you know. So, of course, now, this dude then whipped out the gun. So my uncle grabbed his partner, B, and they, you know, Antoine and Steve, they eased up out of there. Then a few minutes later, we go up out of there. We leave. But now before we leave, of course, you know, I happen to look at Buck. I see he got a big old main knot on his head. I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, he got a big old giant knot and it's split. It's bleeding. So we leave there, man. We go up. My Uncle Dre had a room in the Radisson, which was right around the corner. Right around the corner on the Hostro. So I think we went up there. He seen that big old Maynot. So then we left and went to the store, got some peroxide band-aids and all that. So now we back in the room. I remember us being back in the room, you know, Buck is, you know, fixing his head all up. Now my Uncle Dre, he mad, you know. See, I told y'all I should have bought my gun. You know, he mad at us now because he said we had talked him into not bringing his 12 gauge, his sawed-off 12 gauge, you know. So Buff is up there. He hot as fish grease. Man, I'm a killing Dre. Man, Dre, let's go, Dre. I'm a killing Dre. And I'm thinking like, damn, that Maynot is big as a bastard, you know. And I'm thinking to myself like, okay, man, that thing is big, but he taking it like a gangster, you know what I'm saying? So we hopped up in the car, you know, we riding around. Now we looking for him, but we ain't got no gun or whatever. So later on, man, I don't know exactly what happened, but cooler heads end up prevailing and they end up squashing it and letting it go. So we stayed out there like another 2 months out there hustling, you know, getting our bread, man. Buff was out there. He's doing good, you know what I'm saying? Because to keep it real, when we was back in Bandon, he wasn't doing too good. So, you know, he's out there. He done sold his little work. Now he buying stuff out there, weed out there at day prices, flipping it. You know, he getting his paper, man. So now they get time for us to go back to Cali. I think my Uncle Dre, whatever, had a court appearance or something he had to go to or whatever. So now we done been out there a minute, you know, we done met a few people, of course, and it's 3 girls out there. They want to drive back to Cali with us. So it was Poopsie, Angel, and I believe the other one's name was April. And yeah, that's the picture right there of me and April. When I was locked up, Angel had kept in touch with me. She used to send me a lot of pictures. So yeah, that's me and Angel. That's me and April right there in the green dress. So they want to come back to Cali. Now I'm mad, you know, because I'm thinking like, man, why we ain't really got enough room? Because it's 3 girls and me and my uncle and Buck and a small little, you know, little mid-sized car or whatever. So anyway, man, they go back with us or whatever. Now going back to Cali, coming from Montana, we got to go right through Vegas. Now Buff happened to have, at that point in time, he had a couple of his older brothers that had lived out there in Vegas. So, you know, he said, hey, man, let's stop through here and see my brothers or whatever. So it's about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we stopped. Just so happened when we pull up, you know, either they was outside or he went and got them. And now they all outside talking. Like I say, my uncle Dre, he grew up with these dudes. So, you know, they've been knowing each other for years. So they all out there talking and stuff. Buff is telling them, you know, how good he had done up there in Montana. He hustling. He got on some jewelry. He looking good. He pulling out all this money he did made and this and that. You know, they talking, they chilling, you know. And I don't think Buff had seen his brothers in maybe about 5-6 years. I know it had been a minute. And so all of a sudden, one of his brothers is talking and stuff. He say, damn, Buff, what the hell happened to your head, man? He go over there looking all at his head. So Buff was like, yeah, I had got into it with this sucker dude out there, man, and I'm putting hands on him. I'm busting him up, you know, putting hands on him, man. And then one of his partners, man, he pulled out a gun, man, and he hit me over the head with the gun. And all of a sudden, man, no bullshit, man, this dude just started crying. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Now, I'm in the back seat, you know what I'm saying? At this point in time, man, I'm 18 and everything is funny to me. Everything is a big old joke. But like I said, I didn't see Buff get cracking on several different occasions with them mitts. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely don't want him to see me back there laughing and come whoop my ass. So I got the suitcase over my face. I'm giggling because this is funny as hell to me. Because I'm thinking in my mind, right? I'm thinking like, this dude got slapped across the head with the pistol and took it like a G. But then 970 miles and 60 days later, all of a sudden he get in front of his big brothers. He go to telling the story and start crying like a 5-year-old, man. So I'm back there, man. I'm laughing. Hey, this shit was funny to me. But like I said, I'm gonna keep it 100. I didn't want him to come back there and whoop my ass. So I had the suitcase over my face. And I'm giggling, I'm dying, I'm having a ball back there, you know. But anyway, man. So we end up, you know, we chopped it up there for a minute. Then we end up driving back to California, man. My uncle ended up having to go to court or something. The police ended up keeping him or whatever. So, you know, it was a cold situation. The girls went and got a hotel, and I don't know how eventually they ended up making it back to Montana sometime later. Now, the girl April, she ended up staying there in Vegas. One of Buff's older brothers ended up, you know, talking to her, macking on her, and she ended up staying with him. I don't know, you know, whatever they did is whatever they did, but she ended up staying with him, man. And so, yeah, man, we got back to Cali, man, and went and done our thing, man. Of course, you know, Buff still had that big old Maynard on him, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that story right there, man, of a pimp put some Maynard on my homie, man. And y'all already know what for those of y'all out there wondering what a Maynard is, man. A Maynard is a knot so motherfucking big, it may go down, it may not. Anyway, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.
Them crackers let me out the gate, now the pressure's on. We about to get this shit straight like a pressing cone. The wrong cat to get aggressive on. I bring the bitch up out of niggas while you think they got them dresses on. My reach long and that's the best type. To have some dirty white boys come and smoke you like a meth pipe. And leave your chest bright red like a fire truck. Kicking your mom's door at night, nigga, and tie her up. I'm wild as fuck and I'm respected by the new youth. I put this pistol in their ear like a Bluetooth. I blow their brains on their new coupe. And have red everywhere just like a function full of soup whoops. Tell your troops I deal with beef like a butcher. My 4-5 pump more guys than Ashton Kutcher. Line pusher, quick to bury your clown. Nigga, I stayed in the park like the merry-go-round. Get it?
The game greasy, bitch, the game need me. Oh, you niggas don't know my name. The game greasy, bitch, the game need me. I'm out here doing my thing. The game greasy, bitch, the game need me. I swear in night. The game greasy, bitch, the game need me.